How are we all doing? We are live with Therosian Odyssey, season 2, episode. Gosh, where are we now? Episode 5.
Five.
5
Already?
Yeah.
already.
Mid-season finale, baby.
And today
$5.
is our mid-season finale. Everyone, how are we all feeling?
Yeehaw.
Good. That goes for the chat. That goes for players. Cat is not feeling. I don't know why I'm referring to myself in third person now. I am not feeling my 100% tip-top premium, but I will do my best to project as much energy because I'm very excited about today. And I've been looking forward to this moment for no reason whatsoever, all season long. So just not watching Jen's face of like, excuse me. You heard nothing. Cool. We're going to quickly go around as we always do. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to say what characters we're going to be playing. We won't do like big in-depth, this is where you'll find me, all of this. We will wrap that up at the end. But let's just introduce ourselves briefly for those that might be jumping on into the stream for the first time ever. Hello, welcome if you are. Let's start. Ooh, how am I feeling today? I'm feeling chaotic. Lindsay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay. I'm playing your Eva, the Kenku Ranger, a ranger who knows how to pick locks and do a whole bunch of other sketchy things. It's wonderful. And
not
I'm
a
excited.
rogue.
Not a rogue. I'm excited for our part 1 season finale today, where maybe I'll get to pet a fish. We'll see where that goes.
The shape of water.
Pet a fish. Yes. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, Eva. Who's up next? I'll see if I can make your fish petting dreams come true. Jen.
That sure was a sentence. Hi, friends. I am Jen. I will not be petting a fish because the anything and anyone I will be petting is not on the ship with us. However,
Heavy petting.
No, okay.
If we could just, we are on Twitch. Respect the rules. Okay, anyway.
Hi, friends. I am Jen. I will be playing your local friendly half-elven wizard, Estrella, who is currently at like 20-ish hit points, thanks to, I believe it was Callista who saved my ass.
Yep.
You just need to stop tanking the fight.
I was in the
Callista
corner of the ship. I was in the far
saved
corner
your
of the
ass
ship.
more than
The
once
only
in
other
that
option
battle.
was in the water with the sharks. There was nowhere else I could go. Anyway, that's me. Hi.
Callista saved your ass many times in that battle. Cool. Hi, Jen. Hi, Estrella. Let's move on to, let's go Joan next.
Hi, I'm Joan, and I play Onyx, the stoic Azamar paladin. I did fine in the fight.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You just went around, lopped this one's head off, killed that one, on to the next one. You were great.
I totally stabbed a dude.
Every time you go, has anyone ever heard that thing? It's like, "Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory." Is that a thing?
I know
everyone-
it's like a camp song.
It's like a camp, yeah. So when you go, "Hi, I'm Joan," and I just in my head just go, "And I work in a button factory." Anyway, everyone, can you tell I'm tired? I'm going to go off on a lot of tangents today. All right. Hi, Joan. Hi, Onyx. Let's move on to Lulu.
Oh, hi, I'm Lulu. I am playing Callista, the part Triton cleric with just a little bit of rogue who thinks she can pick locks. The jury is still out as to whether or not she actually can, but she really thinks she's good at it. And she did not have such a good fight. But, you know, she did help Estrella stay alive, so that's important.
This is very important.
Do you know what? I feel like Callista had some amazing moments in those fights that were not as a result of her direct actions at that second. It was just like she put in some amazing prep work. She laid the groundwork. It did a really good job throughout the fight, but which kind of tracks. In the moment, Callista snapped decision making, falling off of ladders. It's fine. That's fine. Hello, Callista. Hello, Lulu. Let's end then with Kumi, who is back with us this week. We love you, Kumi. It's so good to see you here with us again. Love that you just took a week off for the combat. Yeah, all right.
Oh no, I can't believe I
Our
missed
local
it.
friendly barbarian.
I was so ready to go into combat. Oh god. So hello everybody, I'm Kumi. I play Kaluka Killsong, who's a barbarian. So I was ready to go in with my 2 attacks and rage, wild magic rage. So I'm already pumped for the second part of season 2 to get into combat again and like utilize my 18 AC, which I never have with any character otherwise. So I am accompanied by an adorable, starry-furred little rabbit with a horn called Caillou, who is downstairs on the docks. And I'm a little worried because there was this goblin cook that took a bit too much of a liking to her. So I need to go and check it out. As Kumi, I'm a little sick today. I have a bit of a cold. But as Kaluka, I am sick with seasickness. So I'm already going to be starting.
Kaluka has never felt better. That everyone else is a little bit taken out of them from that battle. For some reason, Kaluka's feeling super invigorated. It's like she wasn't even there. Hello Kumi. Hello Kaluka. It's good to see everyone here with us today. Let's just kind of get into it, shall we? I will briefly recap what happened last session. So last session, our party, they faced their first combat out at sea against a ruthless group of Sahuagin raiders. They were kind of drawn in they spotted a floating piece of wood, and closer inspection revealed that there was somebody tied to said piece of wood, a prisoner of some kind, unconscious and not looking in great shape. And by the time they kind of realized that actually this might be one of this famous Sahuagin tactics of drawing in ships and ambushing them, they were being ambushed. So working together with their new crewmates, they were victorious. This was thanks to some excellent marksmanship, some amazing swordsmanship, and some well-devised use of magic, though the battle did not come without its ladder-related difficulties. The battle, however, is now done. And as everyone kind of takes the time to recover and check on each other, there's some healing going on, and we can kind of go over that in a little bit more detail. Eva has ingeniously created a sort of zip wire from her little home up in the crow's nest, and has zip wired using her bow her way down to this raft where this poor prisoner lays unconscious, and is strapped to a board with some boxes and chests that are also kind of tied down with rope. There is a couple of so it's one big crate and 2 chests. For a brief moment, the prisoner did wake up, and they seemed curious about Eva, sort of a mixture of curiosity, very weak, a little bit frightened, as you would think that they might be, but mustering up after some brief sort of interaction with Eva in a kind of, I guess, a reassuring and very successful persuasion role that you are friend, not foe. They mustered up what little strength that they had, and sang a very short melody in a sharp, clear voice that, upon singing this, centering on where this creature is situated, these little ripples began to work their way out from the board and stretched out across the water. Just this tiny little interruption to the natural flow of the sea. And it stretched out as far as the eye could see. It was very clear that whatever they were doing was some kind of magic, just because of the way that they're kind of the sort of veins, and they have slightly, you can see that they're scaly, but they have some slightly translucent skin and webbing, and you can kind of see the veins were glowing just a little bit. They sung this melody, sent out these ripples of sound, and then doing so seemed to drain a little bit of the strength that they had found to become conscious, and they kind of slumped into towards you, Eva. I presume that you kind of steady to catch them and don't just whack their head on the board, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And that's kind of where we left it. So just as a kind of the crew are kind of all gathering together and checking each other over, Dion has his first instinct is to sort of check up on Eva, make sure she's okay, because they're kind of forming a sort of bond, and he notices had a moment of real panic as he just watches, just thinking, is she okay? Oh, she's halfway down like a zip line wire, and he kind of rushes over to the and he, as you kind of end up in the water and on top of this board, he the rope has now kind of flumped to the side of the boat and is kind of like dragging, and he grabs this rope, so I will leave it to you all. Is there anything that anyone wants to do or address?
I think Onyx will. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, you're good, do your thing.
Oh, I think, well, just as soon as Onyx notices that Eva is up to something, she's probably going to head over there to see if she can be of any use to help whatever's going on over there. So
gonna need some strength to haul up
yeah,
well, to haul them both up now, though
right,
you know, you can probably climb up Eva with a successful roll, but so you make your way over. Anyone else? Jen, I think you wanted to do something.
I think this may have to wait until they are on board, because I don't think I heard any of what happened down in the water.
No, so that specific incident with the singing and everything like that you might have kind of vaguely heard a strange sound coming from over there, and that might draw your attention. But Eva is the only person that really saw everything, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna wait on that until there is stuff. But I am going to just kind of take a quick look around, take a quick little inventory, and just get a feel for where everybody's at. And hello, Dead Aussie Gamer.
Hi, Dead Aussie Gamer.
Yay! Welcome back.
And just kind of get a feel for where everybody's at and how everybody's doing. And make sure there is nothing else that is immediately present on the horizon, metaphorically and literally.
I think Callista will just go and want to check on Hector, make sure that he's okay after seeing him fall down into the other.
Oh no! What is it?
Callista, you shining light of sincerity. Okay, well, in terms of briefly addressing Estrella, you kind of look out generally at the surrounding waters, and you might you got a high perception. You might just catch this slight ripple, but I think that the thing that will mostly draw your eye is the fact that you will kind of watch as moving away from the boat, this dorsal fin just kind of subsides into the water, and that will give you that kind of visual indicator that the sharks that were kind of surrounding the boat have now, they're making their way out to, you know, act as they are supposed to act in the wild. They are no longer riled up or bloodthirsty, and so not really a threat. Hector-wise, Hector has hobbled his way back up to the deck. He's making quite the show of really, you got and Cascade is looking very unamused because she is covered, as you were healing her and everything, she is covered in blood, and there's just various sort of like, there's trident holes and there's stab holes and bite marks all over her, and then Hector's coming up with sort of a strained hoof, and he is just kind of just really quite loudly complaining about how the crew should, as soon as everything else is done and everything, they should really attend to that stairway. There's a slightly loose floorboard that really needs to be fixed up. Make sure that it could kill someone.
I would like to please share an exasperated glance with Cascade.
You catch Cascade's eye, and she's not quite looking at you, and she's just kind of like looking off to the side and just rolling her eyes, and can really see that she's steeling herself to just speak calmly and not lose her absolute mind at him. And then she kind of looks up and sees you, and you do share a brief moment of like, really?
Because we have trident hole solidarity right here.
Yeah, it's just, like the two of you are, there's a little bit of tension, but there's a clear shared common frustration here, which is quite nice to.
We got wrecked. In short, we got wrecked.
So you're going to attend to Hector and check on his ankle. You're a healer. It shows signs of there having been maybe a sprain or something. It's not broken. He's okay.
I can learn to
Yeah,
love
so
again.
I think Callista will just go up and say, oh, check him out, and put her hands on him and like, oh yeah, you're good, but why don't you come up here? We've got real injured people. You could help me make sure everybody's okay, because I can't heal everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And he kind of gets up, and he doesn't really even like fully ask permission. He just kind of puts his arm around you to be kind of helped up the stairs.
Sounds
as
about
if
right.
like he's like fully just leaning into this.
Love this man.
And as he kind of like hops on this one leg, he's like, fear not, I'm here.
Oh, thank
really
goodness.
kind of leaning into the come to me for all of your I will see to it, my good friend Callista and I will see to it that you are all healed of your injuries by the blessings, by the grace of Thassa. And he kind of like briefly goes, and Ephara, of course.
I'm gonna like walk over and kind of look him in the eye and absolutely deadpan say, well, thank goodness we have you. Let me just I'm sure he'll take it seriously, but
no, do you know what, that was a really bad insight roll, so he gives you a genuine smile. It's just like, he's like, it's really no trouble at all.
I'm sure I wouldn't want you to sprain your wrist too.
How much trouble it is. Yes, don't worry, I have been trained in dealing with these situations. I'm tougher than I look, he says, as makes a big show of how he's very not tough.
Yeah, then Callista will just go and make sure that everybody who needs healing actually does get some.
Yeah, and that's okay. For the most part, it was really, I think it was just Estrella and Cascade that took a lot of damage. Everyone else, and to be honest, in terms of what time it is, the sun has pretty much set now, so we are kind of into nighttime. It will be like bedtime soon. So it's a good idea to probably like make good use of the light. It's nothing, as far as you can see, that won't be healed by a good night's rest. The magic of D&D, apparently.
Callista took a little bit of damage, falling down a ladder, but it's still damage.
Yeah, exactly.
I think as Onyx approached the side of the ship, she kind of gives Dion a light elbow and just a nod and well fought.
Oh, he kind of seems surprised, and the sort of your sudden presence kind of just so sorry about that. You're very sneaky, and he kind of is peering over. He's keeping an eye on Eva as she's kind of handling this prisoner and making sure it's going. He goes, you too, as always. The better fighter, I think.
Start
Eva's going to beam up at the two of them interacting at the side of the boat. Then she's going to take the rope that she's been holding on to, and she's going to tie it around the prisoner person, like nice and secure, and then give them a thumbs up to start pulling.
Okay, so you begin to pull at this, and he kind of says, he says, Captain, there seems to be some boxes, some a chest or two on here. I don't know if there's anything in them. Eva, are you able to have a look?
Eva, that was her next plan. She's going to give a thumbs up, but she's going to pull out her dagger first. And as she's going through the chest and that, she's going to stab the boxes first, just to make sure nothing's alive.
Perfect.
Would
I do such a...
I think it would be very funny.
Eva maybe has experienced this before. So just to be safe, she's gonna stab a box before she looks at it.
Okay, so there's quite a large crate, and then there's two smaller chests, one slightly bigger than the other. Are you stabbing all three of them?
Yeah, we're stabbing everything.
I love it.
Should we open them?
Okay, you stab into the crate. And you pull it out, and a little bit of what looks like sort of corn or something like that just kind of falls out. Maybe flour, some kind of dust. You're not stupid. I would say it's pretty good guess that there might be some kind of food supplies in here. You don't know if that's all that's in there, but certainly where you stabbed, and the box does not come alive and eaten you, and that's the most important thing.
That's what we're here for.
Bigger chest, you stab into it, stab out. Nothing on your thing, but it doesn't react in any way. And the smaller chest, stab in, stab out, and again, nothing, no residue of anything. But the most important thing, the boxes are not hostile at being stabbed. They seem quite unperturbed. So
all right, once they've been stabbed and
that's going on a shirt.
Reaction,
we're stabbing everything. Can we put that on a shirt?
Yes.
We're stabbing everything.
I am greenlighting the shirt.
2023.
So once they have, been officially deemed dead, Eva is going to open all of them and start rummaging through the goods to see if there's anything in there.
I'll drop a detect magic just in case anything pops up as magical.
You're gonna cast detect magic? Can you just immediately do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it as an action. I'm not gonna do it over the course of the 10 minutes, I think, because
Lovely. You
about to go
drop
to
a
sleep
detect
anyway.
magic. It's how far is the range of your detect magic to detect?
That will be 30 feet.
30 feet. Yeah, I think you can just about get it in, just because the slab is now right up against. If you come up to the
I can
railing,
also cast it through my Awakened Spellbook, which is able to do things like float. So I can always send the Awakened Spellbook over to the raft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. In which case, that's fine. Either this little book kind of appears hovering. Is it in the shape of a book? Is that what you?
I believe it is. Let me double check though. It's literally just like, let me see, Awakened Spellbook. Yeah, it's my focus.
Perfect.
It's yeah.
You send it over.
Will Eva recognize this as your focus, or is it just going to be like a book?
Like you would have seen me use it before.
It looks like Estrella's spell book. You might never have got it floating around you before.
It's a tiny spectral object.
Okay,
but
to make sure, because if it was just a book she'd never seen, she'd be like,
it's just kind of fluttering as if it's like a bird. Like the pages are kind of fluttering down, and they kind of swoop around your head once, and then just kind of float next to you. You cast Detect Magic.
It flaps at you a little bit.
The crate, big crate, no magic. The one chest, no magic. The other chest, yes, some magic. A few different types of magic call out to you there. So there's definitely some magical things within that chest. Meanwhile, Eva, you begin to open the things. We'll start with the obvious one. You open up this huge crate, and indeed, there's a lot of food supplies in it, which is great. The crew, when you kind of open it up, at this point, there's quite a large gathering of people that they're realizing, oh, we're hauling up a prisoner, and we're having a look at this exciting thing, and what are we going to get out of this big battle that we've just fought? And when you open up this crate and the lid kind of flies away and they see food supplies, there's this like, hey, because, you know, like, that's good. That means you can survive a little bit longer. And somebody kind of shouts, somebody tell Cedric! And yeah, really excited, babbling. You open up the, which one do you open up next?
We're going to save the magic sparkly one for last. So
yeah, I would have had the spell book just kind of like rest on the magic one, blink a couple times, and then come back to me.
Eva, slightly confused as the book is laying down, she's going to reach out and she's going to pet the book. Curiously.
The book flaps at you twice
pages,
and then disappears.
The pages bristle slightly and emit this kind of like almost like papery sounding purr.
I love this.
New book smell.
Yeah, this book is now alive. This is so the chests might not have tried to eat you, but this book could at any point. Okay, so you open up the non-magical one, and again, an even bigger cheer erupts as you kind of open it, and the waves kind of shift things, and a couple of coins fall onto this slab of wood. It is pretty well overflowing with sort of gold and gems and various things. And at this point, Cascade has kind of reached the sort of balustrade and is like, all right, settle down. It's going to be shared between everyone, okay? She's really like asserting her dominance. She is the captain of the boat. You know.
All right, I'd like to do some sleight of hand to grab like 5 coins and like stick them in my shirt.
Do you know what? Do a sleight of hand check to grab some stuff, and I will tell you how much you managed to get based on the score.
21.
21, that's pretty good. You managed to get, as she's kind of calming the crew and everything like that, no one has a passive perception higher than 21, so no one notices Eva do this. You managed to get 20 gold and 2
not a rogue
shiny gems, which again, you've worked kind of in some of the shadier circles. You'd probably estimate them to be worth about 10 gold pieces each.
Ooh, nice. Let me write that down. So I got 20 gems. 20 gems.
20 gold pieces and 2 gems worth 10 gold pieces each. So 40 in all. But 2 of them come in the form of shiny.
Shiny is a very good form to come in.
which is a very good form.
Yeah,
Sparkling.
we're gonna sleight of hand that, and then
Sleight of
give the
hand
crew a
that,
thumbs up.
Well done, Eva. You've successfully recuperated all your losses for that magical necklace.
More like
that you stole.
recuperated, because it's a crew.
Recuperated. And then you kind of get to work of kind of setting this chest aside and closing it, and like, yes, we must share this. Yes, it's a good idea. Fantastic, wonderful, marvelous. And the last one, you open it up. This one is actually locked, so make a thieves' tool check for me.
My new skills.
Man, Callista's upset she's not down there.
I just gotta find.
Callista's shoulders just slump. Eva just kind of calls up, "Oh, it's locked," and Calista, and then just like Eva just gets her thieves' tools out and
That's okay. Callista
Sorry,
has
how
plans.
do I use my thieves' tools? Because they're not coming up as my skills.
Are you proficient?
That's it.
Efficiency.
You use
I am now.
do a dexterity check plus your proficiency bonus.
Okay. Dex check. Where's my dex? Oh. That would be 12.
12. It's not a very complicated lock, actually. The Sahuagin, they've got some very interesting tactics in terms of baiting and things like that. They're not great at security. So actually a 12, it was a DC 10. So you do manage to, it's a little bit of a struggle. The water might have kind of got into the lock a little bit. The salt has kind of dried up and crusted around it. So it's not quite as smooth as you'd like it to be, but you do manage to get in there. When you open it, okay.
Eva's just gonna look up to see if Callista's looking.
Yes, Callista would be watching with a forlorn expression, I guess.
Okay, Eva's gonna throw her hands up and like, look what I can do.
Eva,
and I think, you know what? I think Shuri at this point Suri has kind of, she's resting against the balustrade, just watching everything with interest, and then she kind of notices this exchange between the two of you. And she kind of calls out, when we get them up here, we should keep the chest. They make good practice. Well,
and I think Eva, if Eva could hear in her head, which of course she can't, but Callista would try to send her a message like, "Are you sure it was locked?" But of course Eva doesn't actually hear that because she can't
one
hear
of these
anything.
days I'm gonna let one of these messages go through, and this party, there's gonna be some PvP. You said what to me? But yeah, of course you kind of realize this newfound power of like, you can send Eva messages and she won't hear you, so you just kind of, oh yeah, really? You think it's locked?
She meant it in all
smile.
security, and she meant it in all sincerity. She wasn't trying to be snarky. It just, came out that way.
Comes out snarky. All right, you open this chest. Okay, so inside you see that you narrowly missed stabbing your with your knife into one of two glass bottles that contain some kind of liquid inside. Very narrowly missed. And as well as those two bottles, two little vials, you see probably the one that will draw your eye the most to begin with is a sheath that contains 10 beautifully crafted arrows. So that one will immediately draw your eye. You see it kind of is a little bit, it's like a kind of a headband type thing, but it's a hardened one. and it's got sort of little shells and things encrusted into it. And then there is also just a sheaf of different papers that appear to have some magical writing on them, some of which you can understand, and some of which you can't. You would get enough to know at a brief glance that these are probably spell scrolls. And again, the crew, they kind of wait with bated breath. They've had 2 great runs, okay? And this third one, you open it up, and the thing that will probably draw their eye most is the paper, and they go,
Estrella will happily pick up that chair.
And Cascade will look at you, Estrella.
My eyes are alight with the sparkle of knowledge, which is the weirdest thing I've ever said in my life, but...
She will probably note that about you, and she'll go, anything interesting in there? She's looking at Estrella as she says it, because she's noticing that Estrella has kind of done some magic, so she knows that Estrella is kind of analyzing probably for magic. She's guessed, she's thought she's the magic-y person of the party, and she seems excited, so she's got an eyebrow raised, and she's looking for an answer, Estrella.
I'll kind of like glance over, and I'll turn back to her and I will say, I don't know yet. It looks like there may be some sort of magical knowledge in there, but I would have to take a closer look in order to know for sure.
She's quiet for a moment. It feels like that was a test, and you have passed in some way. And she says, I think we're interested in the food and the gold. We'll split it evenly. That includes all of you, of course. And the other chest, I'll let your lot sort that out. But... and she looks at you. If you think there's anything in there that will be helpful for my crew, I'd like to know about it.
Do you, aside from your local friendly doctor, are there any casters or anything among your lot?
I have a little bit of magic. It's more, I was born with it. Not really a caster as such. So
noted.
I guess that's why papers and potions don't really have much interest. But like I said, anything you think that will be useful for us all.
Certainly.
So while Estrella is like having this like casual conversation, Eva's going to cast Mage Hands and start moving the magical items and like trying to give them to Estrella while she's talking. And like if she's not paying attention, Eva's gonna like hit her in the shoulder with items as she tries to pass them off.
We have established that Estrella sucks at watching her back, so she will end up having to be tapped on the shoulder.
You turn around. So which ones are you picking up first? Is that including the arrows?
No, the arrows Eva's just gonna put into her own quiver for now. But the rest of the items, Eva's gonna Mage Hands and like.
And Cascade will notice that, but let it slide. She's fully aware that you're really the bowman. She's kind of already clocked that none of them are crossbow bolts, and so none of them will be particularly useful for Suri. So she's allowed it, but she's kind of like, that little bird. She's got a little bit of a kleptomaniacness about her but she's used to dealing with that. She's after all got Suri on her ship as well. I feel like this is a moment where this will be the first moment where you've really felt a sort of real tension with the other crew. They're clearly adventurers also. They're clearly not just in it because they like to captain a boat, and they've got their own kind of designs and their own sort of self-interests as well. And it's just that kind of moment when, you know, two adventuring parties band together and vanquish an enemy, and then you get to the loot at the end and You go, so how we splitting it? Because we all did shit there, right?
Or we what?
So, and
Or we
it's
what?
like that kind of moment. But she's let it slide for now. She's just kind of gone. She's clocked that you've taken the arrows. She said nothing. And she's letting you deal with what is clearly a valuable chest, though the value of which might not be immediately obvious to the rest of her crew. And she's just kind of gone, okay, well, you do you, and allowed it. Yes, Estrella, you're kind of managing this quite tense situation and trying to protect the interests of your group, but at the same time make it clear that you're not wanting a hostile free-for-all situation going on. And as you're doing so, the seriousness of the situation is slightly undermined by a sort of thunk on the head by a potion bottle.
I'm just like, ow!
Next to you. And it just kind of taps you on the head, and it looks like it's being held by Eva's hands, but there's no body attached to the hands. It's just they're incorporeal as well. They kind of fade in and out of existence in terms of the way they look.
Just kind of reach up and just pluck it out of thin air.
The hands just give your head a little tussle and then go back down to retrieve the next.
Estrella files that away for under things that Cassian hates.
All right. So
that's how all the magic items get transported up.
Amazing.
The rest of the items, Eva will like ask for ropes and that, and she'll tie the chests up. And then the final box, which will probably be the largest one, Eva will likely ride up on that rope as well.
And we can say, that at this point, the prisoner, as it were, has been kind of taken to. Cascade has just basically said, take him to my cabin, because she's recognized she probably has the most comfortable and best. And at this point, Hector kind of interjects and says, well, now we don't know anything about it. Perhaps the brig would be a better. And she looks and just says, Hector, the brig does not have a bed. It has a metal slab. We need to provide someone who is clearly very unwell some comfort. Take him to my bed. I will sleep with the crew if necessary. And they kind of carry this prisoner into the cabin for the moment, still unconscious. We can deal with, if you like, we can deal with kind of the spoils and exactly what ends up being distributed among you all first, if you want to do that. And kind of identify the items properly. Or did anyone have anything else that they wanted to do?
The only thing Eva's going to do once she's back up on the ship, she will take one of the arrows that she had ill-begotten, in a way, and she's going to show it off to like everyone who wants to see it. Like, it wasn't one of those like secret, haha, you can't see this. She's going to proudly walk around and like show it off to everyone.
And I will say as well, when the chest was opened, Estrella, there was magic clearly coming from everything. So those papers, they are exhibiting a sense of magic. This kind of like band is also magical. The 2 potion bottles are, and the arrows are as well, kind of purveying a magical energy.
Is the chest magical?
The chest itself is not. No.
Tragic. Thank you.
Mhm.
I would like to.
Go. Can I? Yeah. So.
Yes, go for it, Akumi.
So, Kalika is just, I think, going to test out the little bit of magic that she's gotten granted to her with a bit of mending, and go around and just kind of learn from the crew what you do to make sure that the ship doesn't sink after a combat. And just kind of
I think that they would really like appreciate that, to be honest. They've gone their immediate concern, the sharks were kind of coming in and thumping against the boat, the first thing they're going to want to do is go to check that, you know, none of the hull has been breached. So they're going to head down, and as you kind of ask about it, they eye, you see that they eye you a little bit, and they're like, and then they see you're quite big and strong, and
fix anything.
Yeah, come on, and they take you down, and there's no real damage that is alarming. You know, the film, you're all upstairs looking at these magical items, and then you head down and the place is half flooded. No, there's no real anything magic. There's a slight leak, or it's not even like spouting water. You can just see some water just starting to seep, and they kind of go, that's okay, that's easily fixed, and they start to get some wood together, and at that moment in front of them, you kind of mend it up very quickly with the mending spell, and they kind of go, oh, you're all right by us. You've just saved them like a sort of a 20 minutes to half an hour job of just fucking around and trying to mend this properly, and you've just kind of gone, boop, done.
If I could, DM, while I'm hanging out with the crew and doing this mending, could I get some of the ship goss on like what the crew thinks of the main party upstairs?
So as in what they think of all of your party, or what they think of, I guess, the other party?
The other party.
You know what? Kumi, this is why I love you. Yes, you can absolutely do that. You spend a bit of time with them, and we'll say that this covers a good portion of like sort of time. But over the course of time, I want you to roll me a general charisma check, because you're not really trying to persuade them. It's just more you're kind of getting in their comfort zone, and roll me a general charisma check.
Not too bad. It's a 14.
14, that's okay. There's a level of guardedness about them still. They're still learning about you. You ask them kind of leading questions of like, and the way that you present it to them is very like, they seem like a great person, like Hector seems so talented, and kind of thing. You're trying to present that your thoughts are in a very positive light to see the initial reactions. You're not going to get any kind of like, no, actually this is what we think of him, but you will be able to kind of read those initial like or like agreeing like vibes. The general vibe that you get, so Cascade, very genuine respect for Cascade as a captain. They're very committed to her. They've served under her for a while. They genuinely seem to really like her as a leader. Suri, there's a sort of like amused smiles, and a mixture of like very unamused. There's a clear divide between the people that have watched her pull pranks on other people and the people that have been the subject of her pranks. So some people are very like, it's just harmless, just a bit of fun, and other people are like, till she gangs up on you. So there's a level of distrust there, but it seems to be harmless. Like, it's not like she could kill you in your sleep distrust. It's more like she might steal something from you or pull a prank on you type distrust. And they all seem to very much view her as she's just a kid. Next up, Tilly, not much known about Tilly.
Oh yes, has anybody ever heard Tilly speak? Like a paragraph or like a monologue almost?
They'll be like, Tilly speaks. Tilly speaks, but she's not like, she doesn't, not much. she keeps herself to herself. She has conversations with the captain, though. They're very close.
Ooh.
She's very close to the captain. And that's, I guess they would have seen the two of them interact and have long, deep conversations together. So you get the feeling that the person that Tilly trusts enough most is probably the captain. Hector, I'm sure that you can guess how the crew view Hector.
I bet they absolutely love him unconditionally and
similar
unironically.
in a way to how Cascade views Hector. It's very much like, I wouldn't say hatred, but they definitely don't respect Hector because they feel very disrespected by Hector. So there's a divide of us versus him. They're wound up and frustrated by his constant I am better than you superior vibe. and even the way that reflects in, they all believe in Thassa, and they all respect Thassa. They are seamen and sea women after all, but the level of piety and they've definitely been told off by Hector a number of times of like, Thassa would be disappointed in you type things, and it's just very like, they're so done that I don't think that they hate him. You don't get the vibe of real, genuine, seething hatred, but they are frustrated by his presence and cannot stand to be within it for more than a few minutes. And they kind of rib each other. This one time, one of them got like literally a 45-minute lecture about the correct way to sort of like button up his uniform in order to respect Thassa's. And it just, it's these wild, crazy stories of like Hector just picking on things that he's mad about today. And then obviously, I think that's kind of who, because they haven't really spent any time with Dion. They consider Dion like your lot, so they won't have any information or thoughts on Dion at all.
And so like the rest of the party would just essentially see Kalyuka running up and down, and just see like Caillou hopping after and carrying like like mending material around a horn to help out the rest of the crew.
Kalyuka, do you need a hand?
Helpful.
No, this is so much fun. Honestly, fixing up the ship after the combat seems a little more interesting than the combat itself. Not that I said that I missed a lot of the combat, but
I mean, I can lend a hand if you need help. It looks like you're doing a lot of cardio today.
It's good to work out these muscles. Honestly, maybe next time, Astrea, do you want to go for a swim?
Oh boy.
In shark-infested waters or in general?
Maybe take a hop off the boat. I mean, don't you feel like after fighting a lot of the things that came at the ship, you want to be with them in the sea?
That might be an experience unique to you, and I respect that. I'm happy to go for a swim at the Isles, perhaps. I don't know if this is the right place with a moving vessel,
That's true. I mean, like, Callista gave me this amazing bangle that lets me breathe underwater. I've been waiting and dying to try it out.
Kat, is my detect magic pinging on that bracelet?
Well, we'll go with a yes. Nothing about you'd have to identify it to really fully understand what was going on with that, but nothing about the way that the bracelet design seems to indicate. In fact, no, actually, it's not a magical bracelet.
It's not magical at all.
No magic on that bracelet. So you look at the bracelet, and just as your detect magic kind of fizzles out, and you didn't really get a reading on it, so it doesn't seem to be magical.
Kalyuka, can you repeat that last bit?
So Krista told me that this will protect me at sea, and I
She
think
did
that
not say this.
she got it so wrong. So,
Does
and I
does
think
Callista pick up on any of this, or is she too involved with Hector?
I feel like you'd be kind of this is kind of time has moved on. We're kind of looking at the destruct the as you know in the next half an hour as everyone's scurrying around doing things. You would probably pick up on the fact that Estrella and Kaliuka are having a conversation, but not necessarily that it's about you.
Perfect.
Though
Circle back
actually,
to-
Kaliuka does keep gesturing to you, so
yeah,
maybe.
she's pointing, and then you see as like Kaluka catches you looking at her, and she goes like,
Estrella is glancing over and looking confused, and she's just like, "Did you say it'll let you breathe underwater?"
"Yes, it's a magical bracelet. It's a
Um,
magical bracelet of friendship."
Kaliuka, I think the magic there might be more metaphorical. I could be wrong. As Estrella just for the heck of it, pops one more detect magic just to be sure.
Yes, use your spell slots. You pop another. You said it now. You pop another detect magic. Definitely no magic. I mean, I'm gonna have you roll a religion check though for me
Okay. Where's my dice tray? There it is.
to see if you can work out why Lulu might have given this bracelet.
And
over
let's
to
go.
you.
Let's go ahead and use my fancy new Tower Knot dice from Phoenix
Woo!
Dice. That's jack shit. Is that religion?
Religion, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
not bad. 14.
14. You've seen that maybe it could be a spell component. You're not sure of what spell, but you would see that obviously Callista kind of as Kaliuka kind of gestures over her waves sporadically. Callista also waves back, and she's wearing a very similar bracelet. So I feel like you could infer that perhaps there is some spell component going on here. You're not sure what the spell could be. Maybe it is a spell that will allow her to breathe underwater. So it might be that the item itself might not be magically enchanted, but it might be that the spell that that Callista is planning might. So you're not sure.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll kind of look at it and say, well, it doesn't look like the bracelet is magical in itself. It may be part of a ritual to help you breathe underwater, but I suppose just make sure that you stick close to her in case.
Oh, maybe it activates when it hits water, and she looks at you excited.
I'll just kind of like take some of the water that's been pooling in the bottom of the ship, and I'll just like splash it on the bracelet.
Nothing.
I love the idea of just two of them just looking at the splashing water.
We're just having a splash fight in the middle of the ship.
You're just splashing each other now. Also, I did forget to talk about, because I always forget about Cedric because he's down in the little thing. The crew, I'm going to just go ahead and say, by the way, that much to probably your annoyance, Kaliuka, the crew adore Cedric. They just think that Cedric is, wow, he's just a real straight up guy. He just, wouldn't hurt a fly. Such a friendly, kind,
flies aren't taste good.
And there's a lot of you might be insightful enough to understand that a lot of them are talking with their stomachs when they tell you how much they adore Cedric and his cooking. But they really like Cedric, just as a kind of addition to what you found out.
Are you sure you don't need help with all the fixes? Like,
no, I think I'm almost done. Honestly, I want to really see the one that we brought on the show, the one that was caught on the driftwood.
Oh, the person?
Do you think that I think I've seen like Callista and Eva do this a couple of times where they just look at the person and they feel like, and it looks like they can read their minds almost, because then they tell us that they read their minds. And she's like blabbering on, but do you think that if we ask them to look at them while they're still sleeping, they'd be able to see their dreams?
That's an interesting thought. I don't actually know. But
Do you think we should go
but
find
that
them?
seems maybe a little invasive. You know? I feel like we should
Couldn't
maybe
be
talk to them.
And you see her like she's completely deflated. She's like, oh, can't see if they can read dreams too.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but actually, whenever people are asleep near me, you have bad dreams.
Oh.
You have dreams of war and fighting.
So I'm playing with that a little bit. I feel like while what you will have all noticed is that certainly I've kind of played with the concept a little bit. Certainly while, and probably you might not have like noticed it as a conscious thing of like, hey, ever since we hung out with Onyx, this has happened. But definitely like while you've been in the continued presence of Onyx, you all might have noticed that you've had more dreams that seem to center around conflict. Not necessarily all-out war, but certainly moments that have been of real conflict in your life. Estrella, you might have dreamt more of sort of like times that you've headed out with Cassian and been in like fights and things like that, or just kind of just sort of flashes of memory of these the time that you fought the lion, the time that just these kind of like memories. But probably all of you, I think at this point, would have probably put them down to just being dreams. Callista, moments that you've sort of stared out at the sea and felt conflicted. You might have had more dreams kind of surrounding that. Eva, moments that you felt conflicted within your family circle about certain decisions that have been made, conflicted about like wanting to pursue your own ideas and thoughts versus what perhaps your father and mother might have had different ideas of the best course of action. So those kind of moments where you felt conflicted of like, should I do what I want to do or should I just do what they say? Yeah, I mean, Kaliuka, you would definitely have had more dreams around like your family, and of a very similar vibe, like when your family have asked you to do certain things and you have maybe had wanted to do other things. So it's conflict is a very central theme of all of your dreams, but I don't think it probably wouldn't have happened enough that you'd all be like, something weird's going on. You'd probably just be thinking that you'd had like some sort of nightmares or weird dreams, and barely able to remember them, to be honest, when you woke up.
Yeehaw.
Onyx, however, you're sleeping like a baby. Peaceful sleeping, you're fine.
I don't want to end the scene if people want to keep it going, but
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
I have one thing I'd like to be doing at the same time that Pelyuka and Estrella are having their talk about the bracelet. Callista will still be talking with Hector as they're kind of going around the ship, making everybody's okay. And Callista will be like, Hector, you know, that was kind of a scary fight. I mean, I was a little worried that you know, everyone wasn't going to make it out okay. Do you have the ability to bring people back if they die?
Well, an excellent question that I just need to remind myself of the answer to. He would probably be pretty honest about this.
I mean, Callista's just assuming he's a cleric, but there's
Like,
no...
oh no, I'm a useless piece of shit.
Give me just one moment. He would be very like, you know, the moment you come to him and he's definitely a person that likes being the authority figure, like the go-to person that everyone's like, oh, help me, Hector, we need you, Hector. He likes to feel needed. So he would probably kind of sort of briefly pat your shoulder and say, yes, fear not, Thassa watches over us and protects us. I communicate.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Thassa was like,
Thassa was like,
you.
no, fuck you.
I love what a dramatic pose.
It's so dramatic.
That's my nightmare, that it's going to freeze on me in just like the worst possible, face that I could be making.
Oh, that happens to me constantly. It's so dramatic. We'll give her a sec.
Yes, I hear you, my love.
What if her internet just completely cut out?
It's kind of what I was thinking.
It wouldn't be the
maybe.
first time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what we'll do is
Take a
if
break?
people are feeling okay, we can cut to a quick break. Yep, it looks like we are having some perhaps internet issues, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna cut to break a little bit early, and we will be back in. Of course, whenever he's on catch, looks dramatic and go, yes.
Whenever Thassa says so.
So we're gonna cut to a quick break, and we'll be back out here hopefully soon. But we will let y'all know what ends up happening unless she's right here.
I've just lost power.
That'll do it.
Lost power.
Oh dear.
So
okay.
can you put us to break?
Absolutely.
We'll
We'll be
figure
back.
it out.
We might be back shortly. We will let you know. See you soon.
everyone. We're back. We're back. The goals. We're blaming the goals. No, I'm just kidding. The tech gremlins. Well, it wasn't even the tech gremlins. The power of electricity in my area just decided to fail for about what it went for like 10-15 minutes, and then came back. But obviously, in a streaming situation, that just shuts everything down. So. Great. I actually really can't wait to watch this stream back and see my final few seconds on camera before.
Oh, it was a great face. It was a great expression.
Was it?
It was amazing. I mean, someone
real?
called you dramatic and regal, so like it was not a bad expression. It was just a great expression.
Mm-hmm.
Dramatic and regal. That's amazing. Okay. Well,
regal, if you will.
It was like you were like this, and you're like,
Yeah, it was like one of these.
I can't. It's really sweet that you'll lie to me like this.
Kat, you are iconic.
No,
amazing,
we're not
and we
lying.
love you.
I'm gonna be horrified. But anyway, we're back. Hello, everyone. We were in the middle of. We were going to go to break soon anyway, but we were in the middle of just getting round, figuring out what everyone's doing.
It sounds like we were going to go to break anyway.
As we kind of draw into the evening. We were going to get a break anyway.
So I didn't even want to stick around.
Yeah, I didn't even want to be here. I do. All right, so we were in the middle of Hector and Callista sharing a really sincere moment. So Hector kind of pats your shoulder, Callista, and he's just like, "Oh yes, no need to worry, my child." When you kind of ask him, like, can you bring people back from the dead? His eyes light up with this almost like very proud of himself, very like sort of smug, and he goes, "Well, yes, once or twice I have had to enlist Thassa's aid in such matters. She is a generous patron."
And does she require any sort of an offering or a?
Oh yes,
spell
indeed,
component?
and he makes a show of like looking around, making sure there are no nefarious characters, and then he just sort of pats his cloak, and you just hear a slight chink, and he goes, "I've come prepared, fear not."
Okay, and seeing that Callista is in a very probably ill-advised attempt, going to, with no training at all, try to pick his pocket of one of those diamonds. Now, she's never had any training in this. She's watched them do it when she was back in the Thieves Guild, but she hasn't actually had any formal training. Jericho didn't think she was quite ready.
Lulu,
In
if
the
it makes
middle
you
of a
feel any
conversation
better,
with him.
if it makes you feel any better, there is no world in which you make a worse decision than I made that one time.
No,
so,
there is. I promise you, there is.
Really?
Okay, so well, we'll see how this goes. Roll for me a sleight of hand check.
Feels like it should be a disadvantage, but I'm not going to give you any ideas.
Nope, like now.
Just did.
This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. She rolled a 1.
Yeah, of course.
She just grabs his butt.
Okay. But you know what? I feel like this is just so beyond what Hector could ever imagine that Callista would do, that he would not think of this as, this woman is trying to daylight rob me in front of everyone. He would immediately, he would just pat this thing, and he would just watch as you just stick and just head towards it, and he would just immediately go, "Oh, hey, whoa, not in front of everybody. Didn't they teach you at the temple you need to guard your
Oh, okay.
your spell components?"
Oh, thank
No, not like that. Not like that. He's not thinking like that. He's thinking that she's wanting to like just show everyone or something, and he's like, whoa. No. So luckily for you, he hasn't thought, "Whoa, she's trying to rob me." He just thinks that you're having a really like naive moment of just being like, "Oh, look, everyone, we're well protected with diamonds," and showing everyone.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Not in front of the crew. We that. And he will particularly look at Suri, who is kind of she's watching out to the sea, as he says, some of them have very how shall I say this, unfortunate backgrounds, and they have developed certain nefarious habits, I'm afraid. It's not their fault, of course, but it's simply the way they were raised.
Oh, it is good to know that, you can cast the spell. I unfortunately, I have a scroll, but I don't actually have any of the spell components. I had to leave the temple quickly. I don't suppose you would consider sharing one of your diamonds with me, just so that, both of us would have the ability, because, in that last fight, I was really kind of worried about Cascade there for a minute, and she's just going to play it off since obviously, she's not a very good rogue.
Make a I will allow you to choose whether it's a persuasion or a deception check, just purely like you're trying to deceive him that you only have good intentions, when really it's quite kind of selfish. But
No,
also you are trying to persuade him to give over a diamond. So I'll allow you to choose persuasion or deception.
They're the same. So she is really trying to persuade him.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 14.
14. I'm just trying to think. He's, he takes a good long look at you, and he goes, "You have nothing at all, you say? None? They didn't prepare you well for this trip."
No, it was kind of spur of the moment, but I was really hoping to learn more about Thassa. If you would be willing to teach me in trade for a diamond.
So he's
Callista.
like, yes, as far as between you and me, as far as Temple are not known for their attentiveness to the education of their apprentices. Very well, and he kind of makes a bit of a show of taking you off to a sort of secluded area. He takes out a bag and he kind of fishes, and you watch as he empties a few diamonds onto his palm, and then he picks through, definitely selects like the dullest, least shiny, like the shittiest looking diamond, if there wasn't, and he goes, yes, there you go, and hands it over. He gives you a 300 gold piece diamond, puts them back in his bag, tightens it up and puts it sort of back into his coat. One thing you would notice is Suri watched that entire exchange.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
So she saw him getting his diamonds out, and she makes a big show of when he kind of looks away, of just not looking at him, so that he doesn't like know that she saw. But he definitely saw you don't know if she already knew this or not, but she definitely saw where the diamonds are kept. And she just when he kind of turns back towards you, you catch her eye, and she just kind of winks and
so
goes
she
back to kind of surveying the sea.
So Callista knows that Suri caught her trying to pick his pocket very unsuccessfully.
You don't know that. You don't know that for sure, but she definitely saw where Hector keeps his diamonds, and she definitely saw you kind of having this like really persuasive, sincere conversation of like, I just really care about everyone else, and she's like, so yeah.
Oh, perfect. Callista got what she wanted out of that. Not quite the way she had hoped, but
yeah, she might have figured that this was you having your first attempt of trying to, but ending up having to get something out of someone in a different way than you'd originally planned.
Iconic, amazing, wonderful, fantastic. Never seen anything better.
Not as much
We
fun
love
as,
to
it could
We
have
love to
been,
see
but
it. I believe that Joan also had something that they wanted Onyx to do.
Basically, once the treasure chest is empty, I wanted to take a look at it and see if, because Suri had said that it would be good to keep it for practice, and I wanted to see if, with my smith's tools and maybe with some help from the rogue and ranger, if I could figure out how to make locks and how to raise the DC on this lock to make it a little bit harder to pick.
Ooh, yeah, I think that you could absolutely spend some time doing that. You have Smith's tools, you're very proficient, and I think with the help of someone that has, like, I think the three main tools that I would consider for something like that would be Smith's tools, Thieves' tools, and probably like Tinkerer's tools, maybe at a stretch as well. You have two of the three, so I think that you could probably, between the few of you, kind of come up with a sort of ingenious way and testing it out, trying to pick it and lock it again, and I kind of basically make the padlock, like create a new locking system for it, and like, wipe it of all the scum that's got in there, and kind of clean it up a bit.
And like,
instantly when you clean it up a bit, it becomes a little bit more intricate and difficult. But yeah, you have an empty chest. You can definitely spend some time doing that and getting a sort of empty chest that can be picked. And actually, you know what? Roll for me a Smith's tool check, but roll with advantage because you're gaining help from someone else using kind of their tools and everything like that. And just let me know the number. So it will be, let's say that you're using Dex because it's a bit of a fiddly job. Plus
Dex
your
plus
proficiency.
Where is my? There it is. Okay, so 18. Not bad.
That's really good. Yeah, I think you could create a new locking system, and that is actually what's the word? Manipulatable. Like, you can manipulate it to become easier or harder to lock and unlock with sort of standard Thieves tools. So you can actually create a lock that has differing levels of security.
Training lock
that somebody could practice upon. Yeah.
Woohoo! Maybe this is the beginning of a new specialty.
Yeah, I think that's a really reasonable request, and I really like that use of your tools. So thank you for that. Because I think that sometimes in this game, tools are a little bit underutilized, and they have so many different uses that, like, people, and I think that sometimes they get a bit forgotten about, as it were. So apart from Thieves tools, obviously that's an obvious one.
Well,
but
Harry gave me the idea, so
kind of get... Oh well, awesome. Cool. Is that everything that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think I might see if I can talk to, what's her name again? Our Tilly, and see if she wants to be a sparring partner, like, in the future. Like, I'm kind of like playing a little fast and loose with time because I feel like, oh shoot, did I just mute myself? Oh, no, I muted.
No, we can hear you. I can hear you.
So you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. Okay.
Time-wise, don't worry. We're good time-wise. You can approach Tilly, and she'll actually what she'll be doing is cleaning the hewn of her axe, and just really she's taking a lot of extra care and attention in making sure that it's really clean. And can you all hear me? Because it looks like you're all frozen.
Yeah. Your picture is frozen, but we can still hear you.
I lost you.
I don't know if she can hear us. Cat, come back.
I hope she didn't lose power again.
Cat, come
The
back.
cat came back the very next day.
The cat came back. They thought they were gone, but the cat came
Hello?
back.
Hi, you're back.
Hi.
See, we just
No,
have to
it
sing the
just
song.
froze. I literally mid-sentence went, can you hear me? I think that you're all frozen now.
We heard that part, but yeah, you were
Okay.
frozen too.
Yeah, you all just were like frozen. Okay, perfect. Might still be some kinks to work out, but it hasn't. The power hasn't gone. It's fine. So she's kind of cleaning up her act. She's really a lot of love and care and attention. But as you kind of walk towards her, she'll stop and she'll look up at you and just sort of give you a nod. You just nodded at each other.
Just thought you might be interested in some sparring practice later when we have some downtime. You seem like a formidable opponent.
She kind of like looks at you, kind of finishes off like what she's doing, and she sort of sniffs. Sure.
Cool. Or the Cetessan equivalent of cool. She's just basically about as stoic as Onyx is, so she doesn't really she's not a chatty one as of yet. And actually she roll an insight check for me. Ooh, not great. 7.
7. Yeah, you would have really know. She seems a little uncomfortable. It's not that necessarily she's uncomfortable with you, but she just seems like cool. Like she just not really like engaging, but you don't get the feeling it's personal, if that makes sense.
Excellent. I think in that case, well, actually, she might sit down. Not so close that it's gonna make her more uncomfortable, but just like close enough that they could hear each other if they lifted their voices, and also start cleaning her sword and her kit and all of that.
After, as you kind of sit down and you do that, after a little while, she would just kind of say, "Nice sword."
Thanks. Nice axe.
Thanks. And that's probably about the extent of the conversation.
We're totally best friends now.
This is best friends. This is best friends for Tilly. It's like a real respect for each other's weapons, for each other's prowess.
Did we establish that Daja made this sword?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she would, when she said nice sword, she genuinely looked very impressed. Like you'd watch her clean and she just keeps looking up at it, and she kind of just like, nice sword, and like really you can tell that she understands.
I'll revise. I'll say thanks. My mom made it.
And she will say, when you say nice axe, she'll say, thanks. My mom made mine. And then she'll go back to cleaning.
Okay. We are best friends now.
That's so sweet.
Miss Moms for the win!
Moms! All right. With that, it's about yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is. I don't know where we are time wise. As far as like where we are in the ocean. But over the next couple of days, I do want to take a look at those scrolls and read through them and see what we've got.
Perfect. I was actually going to address those as in the next couple of hours, because there won't be enough time for over the next couple of days, if that makes sense. So I will just briefly take you through what, once you've kind of, I assumed you were taking some time to have a look at the things, and while everyone else was doing everything else. Yes, Lindsay?
I was going to have Eva, like, shortly after all this is happening, kind of click-clack over to Estrella and, like, look up at her with, like, puppy dog eyes, and then look to an item and look back up to her and just be like, So, what do they do?
Well, Estrella will hold judgment until her player knows what they do.
All right. So the first thing that you will be able to notice, and it's very easy for you to understand this one, it won't take too much identifying. You roll a general arcana check for me.
Now that you've said that, I'm going to roll a 1 and you know it. All right. Well, it wasn't a 1. It was a 2. 10!
Well, this stuff you've seen, the arrows that you've seen, they are +1 arrows. So they are magical +1 arrows. There's 10 of them. And so Eva now has 10 +1 arrows. I think you have it in you to really identify what all of this stuff is. It just means that it takes a bit longer because you didn't roll as well. You're kind of tired. You're still recovering from combat. Everyone else is kind of like running off and doing things, and you're just sitting there and you're trying to read words and trying to look at runes, and you're just I'm so tired. I just need to sleep. God, I wish I left this till tomorrow. But you can feel Cascade's eyes on you, and that's also adding a little bit of pressure. She's not coming over. She's not going like, well, what is it? But she's waiting. You can see she's waiting to get the down low.
So what I'll do for the arrows is I'll pull out a piece of parchment. I'll hold out my hand for one of Eva's arrows.
Eva's gonna happily hand the arrow that she's been showing off to everyone. She's gonna hand it over.
All right. Can I also have one of the ones that you had before? Just to borrow.
She's gonna reach into her quiver and pull out a normal one.
She'll take the normal one. She'll hold up a piece of her parchment and do that knife thing where she slices through a little bit of the paper, and she kind of shows the edge to Eva, and then she takes the +1 and does it again and shows the cleaner edge to Eva, just to demonstrate like it's sharper, it's more effective.
Eva's going to nod sagely and knowingly, and
then she'll hand both arrows back.
Amazing. You know, Eva, are you kind of sticking around and helping?
Oh yeah,
with
Eva's
this
like
demonstration. Yeah. Roll another Arcana check as kind of like you're being aided by Eva and you're being helped by it. Because I don't know. I feel like you're tired, but there's gonna be some of that. But
Eva's gonna like hold the item happily as it gets detected. She wants to learn the secrets.
I'll just like use Mage Hand to kind of like rotate it in Eva's grasp. That's a 15. It's slightly better.
15, yeah. So, and as Eva begins to help you, she gets out some of her thieves tools. She's got like little mirrors and like magnification stuff so that she can see better, and it's a lot easier to read some of the runes and things like that. Okay, I'll briefly go through with you, and you know, the party, we can, for the sake of this, say that unless you specifically tell me that you wouldn't share this, the party will kind of know what you have. So the 2 vials, they are the same. They have the same red liquid. Is a little stronger and more potent. They are 2 greater healing potions.
All right. I am taking notes on this on my desk, so no need to write anything down. I got you. So 2 greater healing potions.
Yeah. You have 10 +1 arrows. And actually the sheath that it came in is really nicely designed as well, if you wanted to keep hold. It's not magical, but it is really gorgeously designed. I'm sure that Eva will want to keep hold of that.
Yeah, totally. Eva is our ranged friend, so that's all Eva.
The sheath of spells, you would be able to read some of them, and those that you can't read, if any, you'd be able to kind of get a sense after some investigation and understanding of the runes.
How much comprehend languages?
So they are a scroll of, and they are at their base level, as in the level that they are cast at, a scroll of create food and water.
Okay.
A scroll of locate object.
Ooh, okay.
A scroll of featherfall.
Okay.
A scroll of underwater breathing. and a scroll of, and this is the one that will probably excite you most, Estrella, control water.
Okay. All right.
And finally, this sort of strange band that's kind of got these like beautiful encrusted it's like pictures of like sort of marine life kind of going around it. It's definitely something that you would wear on your head, and it would like be like a sort of
circlet,
almost like a Greek halo, but it goes
like a circlet around.
Yeah, like a circlet. Exactly. But it is a re-flavored helm of underwater action.
Gotcha.
Because I just don't like the idea of it just being a helm.
Yeah. So I also hate helms.
It's a circlet of underwater action, but it's if you want the properties of it, it is that helm specifically.
Okay. All right. So what I will do is I will just kind of like take my fantasy sticky notes, and as I'm identifying each thing, I'm just going to scribble down what they do. I'm going to I'd like to beckon Cascade over. At some point, I'll just like catch her eye.
Mm-hmm. And she will walk over to you. Well,
we do have a handful of things. My question to you is, do any among your crew have the ability to learn new magic?
She just looks at Hector, but says nothing.
I glance over at Hector. How do you get your magic from your god, or do you study it?
Thassa grants me my magical powers.
I see. I'll return to ignoring him. And I will turn back to Cascade. One thing that stands out to me as something that may be useful to you in a pinch. She'll hold up the Create Food and Water scroll. We obviously are not at sea quite as often as you are, but I do recognize that Thassa can be a bit capricious in, especially when my own god is involved in some of the torrents that may happen at sea. And she'll kind of like hand over the food and water scroll. If you find yourself in a pinch, this will give you some extra supplies, food, water.
Hector will go. May I?
I will hand it to Cascade and let her deal with that as she sees fit.
She will give you a nod of acknowledgement, a nod of gratitude for you respecting that she is the captain. But as soon as she takes it, she will immediately hand it over to Hector. And he'll go, oh, thank you. And he'll look and he goes, oh yes, I can read. Oh yes, yes. As Lady Estrella has just said, this will allow me to create. Yes, I can create some food, fresh water supplies from this if needs be. But I can probably only do it once, and then the scroll will, of course. And Cascade goes, yes, I understand some of the basics of magic. Thank you, Hector.
He mansplaining.
Yeah.
I think at that point, Callista would just chime into Hector. But you mean Thassa doesn't allow you to just do that whenever you want? I mean, Afara lets me create food and water if I need.
Oh, of course. Thassa does. I have access to many spells, but I find that I have a limited pool of energy a day, and I have to make sure that I have some of the other spells that we may need. And at that point, Cascade goes, so you don't think that the provisioning of the crew is important, Hector? And he's like, well, of course, provisions and rations and things are exceptionally important. But Captain Cascade, we've just received a crate full of supplies at Thassa's beckoning.
I think that was actually the creatures beckoning.
We overcame and conquered, and we have won the day. Let's just revel in that victory. And at this point, he's getting a little bit grumpy. He's being questioned.
The word "we" is a bit generous, but we'll go with it.
Tell me, Captain, in a pinch, would you rather I was able to create cakes from thin air or bring the dead to life? You tell me. And she kind of rolls her eyes and she goes, "Of course I trust your judgment, Hector. I'm sure the scroll will prove very useful. Thank you, Estrella."
In that vein as
My
well...
apologies, Lady Estrella.
She just sees Estrella squirm just a little bit at the title. There are a couple of other bits of magic that, to be quite frank with you, there are two that I in particular find interesting, which involve being able to find a specific object and #waterbend a little bit. But
I mean, I have some abilities with water, but it's nothing really. It's more of an innate thing. It's cantrip level ability to mess with water.
I would be curious though. I just kind of I send my familiar to fetch the rest of the party. Anyone who's not already here. Because I do want everyone else's input before I just go giving away scrolls. But once everyone's here, I'm just gonna kind of lay out the stuff in front of everybody, and just kind of have the sticky notes there, my fantasy sticky notes, and just kind of point out I would like to keep locate object and control water. I am less married to the featherfall, underwater breathing, and underwater action. If anybody wants to fight over those.
I can breathe underwater now, but I'd love to be able to fight better underwater. So,
Callista, you would definitely hear Kaliuka claiming that she can breathe underwater right now.
Yeah, and so she would be like, "How can you breathe underwater? I didn't realize you could breathe underwater. That would be a really effective spell to have. I'm not even sure I can breathe underwater."
But isn't it the power of friendship?
Oh no, that will just allow me to help you get a little bit of make you a little bit harder to hit, and I can take some of the damage that you take so that you're not quite as hurt.
Cool.
But you know what? Being able to breathe underwater would probably be a really good idea on a ship. I should have thought of that.
You see it Kaliuka just kind of goes and stands at the edge of the ship and looks at the water horrified and looks at the bag.
You watch as Kaliuka's entire world is destroyed in front of your eyes, and she just slumps her shoulders, as she realizes, "Oh, I can't breathe underwater now."
Can Eva walk up and take the circlet, and then walk over to Kayuka, standing on the edge, and hand it up to her?
Oh my god, I love this. Oh, is she gonna jump? I need to roll to just kind of see whether Kaliuka would just be take the, I imagine this really Greek sort of ceremony sort of way where you're going for the Olympics and you lift up the torch and you give it to the other person. In the same way, Kaliuka takes the helm, puts it on, and she nods I get what you mean.
Eva's gonna look concerned still while she's handing it over.
At this point, Cascade kind of leans in and says she can't swim. Talking to those of you that are still present and pointing at Kaliuka.
It's something
because she shared with you all how she was nervous about going on a boat because she couldn't swim.
Yeah, we there really wasn't a way around it. We just We had to come.
Will that thing help her swim?
I don't actually know. Will it?
Yeah,
help me out?
you know that the circlet would be able to help us swim.
Yeah. Yes, it would. It would.
I mean, I was just planning on casting Water Walk if it came up, but hopefully she doesn't jump in because I'm a little too tired to do that at the moment.
Yeah, and she kind of shakes it off and goes, yeah, just let her keep the circlet. And Tilly just kind of sniffs, and kind of looks a little nervously out of the water, but just not sniffs like sadly, but just like, all right, I guess if we have to go in the water, I guess I'm just gonna die then. But it's fine. So she's just like, it's good to have everyone. You are my charges. I'd rather that you could all defend yourselves in the water if necessary.
I am kind of leaning toward bequeathing the underwater breathing scroll to the captain as well. I don't necessarily think we will need it. It's possible that we will, but I think based on the risks associated with, shipping for a living, but I don't know. I am good either way. I'm happy to spend the time and perhaps money to learn any of these, but I do want to make sure that, we're transparent about what we have.
I sent a message to Astrea. Like, maybe we can give it to Callista. I know that she's mentioned a couple of times that she doesn't know how to swim. I mean, she can swim, but she can't breathe underwater. So
you would
this
know.
would help her maybe touch that side of her family that she hasn't been able to be with for quite some time.
You would know, Estrella, that obviously it depends. Like, not everyone will be able to learn every kind of scroll. It's not just a magic scroll. It's like as long as you have access. Like, it's with Callista could use it, but if she doesn't have access to it in her spell list, it will be a bit more difficult for her to use it.
I guess go ahead.
Just to be transparent, Callista can breathe underwater. She has a dagger. I just don't know. I don't think she knows that that's what it does at this point.
I guess,
but she is attuned to it.
In the meta, what do we want to keep?
I think it would be wisest for Estrella to learn the spell of water breathing so that you can cast it later more than once.
True. I am good to learn those last 4 spells, like the Featherfall, locate object underwater breathing, control
Eva
water.
would maybe love a Featherfall because she
that would
tends
be useful.
to be up and
and I think
not so good at getting down.
Described like what the spells were and what they kind of did to Cascade. I think at the sound of Featherfall, Dion would probably pipe up and say, well, that might be useful for this one, and look at Eva. She's always
true.
up high. I wouldn't want her to fall. Perhaps she could cast it on herself, or someone could cast it on her. I don't. And immediately backs out and is like, I don't know how this magic stuff works.
Actually, one thing that I had in mind, Eva, at least for the duration of this adventure, where I think that my current cloak would be more helpful, why don't you borrow the cloak that we found in Arachne's cave? It will allow you to climb a little bit easier, and it'll also allow you to have your hands free if you have to climb.
Eva squints and thinks about it, and then she pulls her own cloak tight around her, like it's her baby blanket.
That's fair. Well, if you change your mind, feel free to let me know.
She's gonna think on it.
It's
because that does sound pretty good.
It's in the inner pocket of my pack.
Just to give you just so that you Lindsay can think on it and think about whether even might choose it, because your cloak is great, but it will allow you it will give you resistance to poison damage, allow you a climbing speed equal to your walking speed.
I already have that.
Up, down, across vertical surfaces, upside down, along ceilings, while leaving your hands free. You can't be caught in webs, and it will allow you to cast web as well. That's the things it does.
That's a pretty good cloak.
Yeah, I'm
honestly gonna sleep on it.
Item, everyone.
I'm honestly like, if no one else wants it, I will sell it for parts, but
it's one of those things, like I mentioned to you before, that if you wanted to sell it, it will require you to find a very specialized buyer.
Yeah.
And
it would probably be like a sell in MIDSEASON, honestly.
It will be difficult to find someone who would be able to part with that level of money.
Oh, black market, I got this. What could possibly go wrong? And
then like, it's what you do with the money. And if this is the thing, if you're looking at the black market, I mean, you would know this, I think, Estrella. You're looking at the black market for high value items, and then, you know, someone nefarious has just bought this really high value item from you and now knows that you have that level of money on you. Like, that's almost guarantee that you are going to immediately be set upon by a lot of people.
also there's the whole probably shouldn't be seen there, but
so
not that I haven't already
it's something for you to consider. I will have a good think about maybe some other options for you of what you might be able to do with it, so that you can have
trade,
a think.
You know,
like to trade, or maybe it could be used to in a different scenario as a gift to strengthen a relationship with a faction or a person or something like that. It is, after all, a sort of, I would put a purple as a very rare artifact, so it would be something that would, you know, if it were to be given away with goodwill or something along those lines, it would probably it would probably reap you maybe a benefit in a different way that's not a monetary benefit. But something to consider. You don't have to do anything with it now. You're currently attuned to it right now, I believe, and you're wearing it, and it's yours.
I am actually wearing the Cloak of the Manta Ray, so I am not attuned to it.
Yes, you can't be, because you can't wear both.
Right now, it is just a very pretty blanket.
Eva's gonna sleep on using it. She'll decide tomorrow.
Australia's just gonna like,
it is something that
is worth thousands of gold, and you're using it as a floor
so that's
mat.
something really important to remember, is that it does require attunement. So it's not something that you can just kind of have in your back pocket and then just be like, oh, let me pull it out and put it on. It would require you to attune to it. But cool. Okay, so those are the things. Estrella is keeping hold of the other spells for now, and we'll figure out.
Estrella will deal with the timing on getting those copied down, and I will also get you a priority list, because if I don't have time for all of them.
The circlet is going to go to Kaliuka. And Kaliuka, I'm happy for you to kind of, you know, after this session, to just say that you can attune to it. That's fine. All right. And the potions, are you doing anything specific with the potions?
The potions I would like to just keep in our pack, in our party pack. Obviously Eva has the arrows and the quiver. And then as far as the spell scrolls, I'm going to kind of oh wait, is there? Okay, there it is. I'm going to, I think, prioritize in order, control water, locate object, underwater breathing, and then feather fall, in the order in which I do them, just in case there isn't a whole lot of time.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, it doesn't have to be done now. It is at this point you kind of start to put them in your pack. ready to kind of look at and copy out into your spell book a bit later, perhaps, that someone comes out of the captain's cabin and says, he's awake. He's not speaking a lot of sense. And then Cascade, she looks at you, Eva, and she says, you were down there with him. Was he awake while you were down there? Would he recognize you?
Eva's gonna nod aggressively.
Wait. Hang on, Eva. Estrella will reach into her. Well, actually, we'll take her. Can I make my Helm of Comprehend Language the circlet too?
Yes. No, I don't. I've always imagined it as a circlet. I have never imagined it as a helmet.
Yeah, fuck helms. Estrella will kind of like take off her circlet of Comprehend Languages, and hand it over to Eva and just say, I don't drop this. Don't throw it overboard or anything. I greatly treasure this item, but I think it will be more useful for you in communication with this person for now. It's Helm of Comprehend Languages. You can cast Comprehend Languages. It is not attunement, so you can just put it on and go with it.
So Eva having like a big beak and all that, like I don't think it's gonna like fit on her head. So she'll just kind of like put it on like a necklace.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't require attunement, you said.
Yeah, not attunement. Technically, we could just pass it around and cast it on each of us.
Question: how many charges does it have?
It's not a charge. It's at will.
At will.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if you would let us pass it around and then cast it. It lasts for an hour. Like it would be great to be able to all talk to him, but you know, I recognize that's a little spicy.
Hold up. At will. Yeah, you're right. Okay, cool. Yes, you put it on and activate it. Okay, so she says, if he recognizes you, maybe you should go in first, or we don't want to. And the crewman is like, yeah, he seemed kind of a bit. I couldn't understand anything he was saying, but he seemed a bit frightened.
I'd offer you one of the greater healing potions to give to him, but we only have 2.
I got lay on hands left.
Yeah.
So Eva's going to nod and proceed to be the first one into the room.
Okay.
I'll follow.
As you walk in, so let me just reveal, because you haven't seen the captain's cabin yet.
No, we have not.
So you walk in. I mean, it's the captain's cabin. It's not anything special looking, but you kind of walk in, and Cascade will go in. You're all welcome to go in. Cascade will go in with you. The rest of her crew, Hector will probably come in with you. He really does value his self-importance. But the rest, he will kind of come in and are kind of like, oh, in case there's healing or anything needed. And this prisoner will kind of is on the bed and is huddled up in the corner of the bed as far away as they can be. When you walk in, Eva, they relax a little bit, but still look a little wary.
So Eva's going to use her mimicry to try and attempt to recreate the little song that they did down on the raft.
He'll like cock his head briefly and smile a little, and then it won't have any magical effect. There's no magical intent behind it. It's simply a copy, but then he will say something, and you prepare yourself for this helm to translate exactly what he's saying, and it doesn't. So it's still in that same
her
kind
necklace.
of language that he doesn't understand. Yeah.
I'm gonna tap the necklace a little bit.
Noticing this, Astrea's gonna kind of like, actually, can someone move Astrea over there? Just because my Alba Rodeo is on the stream right now.
Yeah.
So I don't want to move anything. I'm gonna kind of tap Eva on the shoulder, and say, Eva, what do you speak?
Eva will respond with, I gotta find where it's listed, everything I speak.
Bottom left of the character sheet.
Well, my character sheet's in a bunch of different things.
Hold on. Eva can speak. I'll tell you, Lindsay, but obviously.
Oh, there it is. Languages. There it is. Celestial, Common, Leonin, Primordial, Sylvan, and Undercommon.
Okay. So Astrea will kind of look at Eva and say in Elvish, "Can you understand me?"
Eva's going to reply back, yes.
Okay. So it's not the helm.
Yes. So even though Eva, you don't speak Elvish, you can understand what Astrea says.
Okay.
Well, it's Sylvan, isn't it?
It's Elvish.
No, Elvish is
a
its own
different
language.
Oh, okay.
So you can. So that's the thing. You recognize while wearing this that Astrea is speaking a language that normally you wouldn't be able to understand, but for some reason, even though the words are to you something that you don't recognize, you can innately understand what Astrea is saying. So that is not happening with this prisoner.
He's not speaking Sylvan, right? Because I can understand Sylvan.
No.
No, he's not speaking Sylvan.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
got
speaking,
mixed up with languages.
I have gone through and checked. He is not speaking anything any of you can understand.
Okay.
So I look at Eva and I say, okay, it's not the helm. It's not the helm. But if you can get him talking a little bit more, I can see if I can figure out what it is. I just need to hear more of it.
Eva is at this point also going to cast her Detect Thoughts.
Okay. Okay. So detect thoughts, initial detect thoughts, if I am remembering correctly, does not require like you to they don't necessarily have to know that you are reading their thoughts, if that's me thinking of that correctly.
So I learned surface thoughts.
You learn surface thoughts. I feel like the words, I think that when a lot of people think, and not everyone, obviously it really depends, but a lot of people think in both words and pictures at the same time. They envisage like images, but they also envisage like talking to themselves, or there's like an inner voice. And I think what you would get as you cast Detect Thoughts is this a sense of fear of the unknown, a sense of pain coming from various areas of the body. There is an inner voice. It's in a language that you don't understand. And briefly, flashes of the waves underwater, being underwater, flashes of another couple of creatures that look similar to him, in that they look like they are of the same ancestry. You wouldn't, his thoughts are racing somewhat, he's agitated, so you wouldn't really get a very clear sense or picture or something, but you kind of are hit with these images of being underwater, swimming around, a couple of people that are kind of the same ancestry as him, that definitely seem to be at the forefront of his mind. Perhaps he's worried for a sense of fear, so perhaps he's worried for their safety, perhaps he's worried, something along those lines. But again, what he's saying or he's thinking to himself is in a language that you cannot comprehend or understand.
I think I have action if
Eva's-
nobody else.
Yeah, Eva's gonna relay sort of what she's seeing to everyone else around them, kind of look at Estrella and be like, I can't understand what they're saying at all.
I'm gonna pop a detect magic, just to see if there's anything affecting him that last ditch effort, like that could be messing with his communication. I assume it's just a really old language, but
you don't sense anything. And I think that in terms of the way you would understand, because you understand magic, you would not understand that the way that this is built, this item, is based on the input of like known languages. Either as his thoughts continue to race, suddenly a word comes through that you do understand. For briefly, you don't know what the language is that it was spoken in, but just for a second, you hear the word, meaning like swim urgently, or it gives that kind of impression, and a word comes through that you're like, oh wait, I got that. That one word, I got it. It's almost like it's like something it's trying to translate, and it's struggling, and it's getting the odd word that's similar to something else that might be, but you would, I don't know that you would be able to translate exactly. But oh yeah, I wrote, it's not a language that you recognize because it's not a language that you speak. So it's not like if it was a language that was similar to Sylvan, for example, and that
You'd
one word came through, you would go, oh, that was in Sylvan. So this language is similar to Sylvan, but it's not. It's something that you don't recognize. He, and obviously he's just kind of speaking in his head. He's looking at you, and then as he kind of calms down, his thoughts turn, and it's then your face in his thoughts, and he's kind of thinking about your like feathers. He's thinking about like the way that, like that moment where his hand briefly brushed against yours, and the sort of softness of it, and that word does come through again, another word, and it's like something that means like soft or feeling, nice feeling.
Yeah, I have thoughts.
Yes, Joan.
So I think I'm gonna, while this is going on, I'm gonna try to make eye contact with him and get his attention. I'm also gonna kind of crouch down so that I'm not so big and intimidating. And I'm gonna look at him, and I'm gonna like try to make sure I have his attention, and then I'm gonna bite my own hand just until it's bleeding a little bit, and then lay on hands like 1 or 2 hit points of healing to myself, so he can see that I'm healing myself, and then I'm gonna offer my hand out to him and see if he'll let me touch
I like
him.
that. I like that method of communication. He will watch you very intently. Are you still detecting his thoughts?
Yeah.
Eva? Okay, so he will watch, and it will be a sense of panic as she bites herself, worry, confusion, and then as she does that, he will roll for me a persuasion check on it. I just want to see, he's very distrustful at the moment. Not that he doesn't trust, he's just a bit confused at his surroundings, he's dazed. So
21.
Yeah, so then he will you can see that there's a lot of, like, he's got a lot of injuries, but you can see there's a lot of bruising, and he will tentatively put out like an arm where you can see that there's this kind of bruising and rope burn and all around his arm, just for you to
And I'll just like lightly lay my hand on his. I'm not trying to grab it or anything or whatever. Like he could draw back at any moment and just start doing lay on hands. I have up to 25 left.
Okay, yeah, fine. And you can get probably a good part of like his visible surface wounds start to abate, and he's looking at them in kind of wonder. You get a sense though, Eva, from his thoughts, that he does recognize this process. It's not alien to him that something like this could happen. It's just kind of, it's more like, oh, someone that looks like that can do that too, kind of thoughts. It's clearly something that he can't do or doesn't have the energy to do, but it's definitely a process he recognizes.
Just to clarify, am I using all 25?
You are using all 25.
Do you understand us?
Are you speaking to him?
Mm-hmm.
Eva, you do not get a feel of recognition from his thoughts at the words that she just said.
Nope, he doesn't understand.
Okay.
Eva's gonna think for a second, and she's gonna reach into her satchel and pull out her book, one of her books. She's gonna pull out her quill, which is just one of her white feathers turned into a quill. She's gonna open her book, and she's gonna draw a little picture that looks a little bit like Eva, but like a 7-year-old drew Eva. And then she's gonna write Eva on top, and then she's gonna hand the book over to the creature, the person.
You hand it over. So first of all, he takes this feather, and he is absolutely fascinated by this feather, and he kind of looks at it and then looks at you and points to where you have various sort of white feathers and points at you with it's like you feel like questioning.
And she'll point to like her wing where there's like one other white feather, and she's like, it's from here.
And he just strokes it a little bit. And then he turns his attention. And you get the word, you get the questioning. He's trying to read. He can't understand what is written. It's not an alphabet that he recognizes, but you can sense that he understands the intent behind it. And he sees he understands, and he says he kind of has the word kind of slips through name question in a questioning tone of like he's kind of seems to be asking himself, oh, is this her name? But he can't understand what's written there. So you know that probably if you just said it out loud, he would understand, that he would correlate.
Yep. Which she will. She'll point to the little picture she drew, point to the name, point to herself, and be Eva, and just kind of repeat that process.
He'll look at you and he'll say, Eva.
Getting really Wally up in here, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then he will look along his arm, and he will pull out one of his scales. And he'll be like, but he doesn't seem to feel it. And there's particular, like, so his scale, he's got a sort of very bluish tint to his skin, but there are some scales that are very dark blue running along. He's pulled out one of these dark blue ones, and he hands it over to you.
Eva looks mortified, but she'll take it.
It didn't seem to hurt him. And he points to himself and he says, Koros.
Eva will proudly look at everyone and be like, his name is Koros.
And then he looks at all of you and says, Koros. And he's like trying to get you to understand.
Koros. Onyx.
And then he says a few more words, kind of starts, and again, like it's all coming in jumbled thoughts as he says he's trying to talk to you, and he's then realizing that he can't talk to you. The odd word slips through, water, danger, the word sort of separated kind of comes through. It's difficult to understand. What I will though get you to do, those of you who have a proficiency in history, I would like you to roll a history check for me.
I'd also like to, at this point, hearing this and observing the stranger, shoot a message to Callista and say, Callista, I know sometimes when you know, especially with us and with other things as well, you have visions that come to you when you see things. This individual in front of us, when you see them, and these words that Ava is saying as well, is there anything coming to you? Is your goddess telling you something?
Not at the moment. I'm interested in him. He looks... but I'm not getting any visions or anything, at least not at the moment. But they usually come to me in dreams.
That's 20.
Oh, you got a natural 20.
28. But yes, that's a 20.
28. Lovely.
I got 16.
Did anyone... You have
And
16.
Callista got a 19.
But it was a natural 20, and I'm very proud of it. After my fucking 2.
Okay, so 16, natural 20 for 28. And what did you get? Sorry, Callista?
19.
19. Okay, you all rolled really well. And so for varying reasons, and I think what I will say is, Eva, you are kind of in his thoughts, and as he's kind of talking, this jumble of images is just kind of hitting you at once, and it's hard to sift through them. But at one point, just for a brief second, you see what looks like a city under the water, like a ruined, but it's also populated. There were people there. City under the water, it just comes to you in a flash and then it's gone. Callista and Estrella, you are both readers. And I feel like, especially you, Estrella, you have a very distinct interest in languages. As he talks out loud, something about, as you listen to the way that this language is, you can't understand what he's saying, and you can't remember the exact translations. Only Eva is getting this, but the same words that are coming through to her with her helm on are hitting a sort of memory, a spark of memory for you. And essentially what I'm trying to get at is you are all, for different reasons, drawn to the memory of a myth, a story that you might have read about, and you will have kind of understood or learned about in different levels of detail, depending on your roles. But essentially, you remember the myth of the sinking of a city called Orlantin, spelt Olantin. And the myth goes as follows. In ancient days, Orlantin was a wealthy coastal poly along the Siren Sea. Because it was the westernmost of the great polys of old, it became associated with the sunset, and therefore with Heliod, the god of the sun. A magnificent shrine to the sun god rose within the poly, and its priests, a group known as the Triarchy, grew wealthy and powerful. Details about what came next are unclear, but records do tell of a veil of darkness that engulfed the coast, And the people of Olantin believed that Heliod had abandoned them, and some of them kind of fled the city. In a panic, the Triarchy raised an enormous ball of light into the sky as a replacement sun. When the darkness cleared, Heliod saw the fake sun and grew furious. With his spear, he struck Olantin, shattered the city, and cast its ruins into the depths of the sea. And I think what kind of really drew you, Estrella, in particular, is just elements of this language. You remember kind of reading this myth and becoming interested in Atlantean, and Atlantean itself is a lost language, but there is remnants of it that still exist. What you can probably surmise is that what he is speaking is a very modified version of that lost language of old.
It's a pidgin.
It's essentially what might have happened if Atlantean had stayed around as a language, and as it got modernized and people, it might have been changed around and stuff. It sounds as if that he's speaking. That's the closest thing you can push it towards is, well, this is Atlantean, but it's not. It's different. It's so modified at this point. It's become unrecognizable. But there's the odd word, the odd sentence, the odd thing is coming through that you're like, that is that lost language. That is Atlantean.
Oh, Estrella, can't wait to make a pidgin language out of this. I think what's going to happen is Estrella's just kind of going to be like, just very intently like transfixed on this person as he's speaking, and she'll just quietly be like, Olantia.
And as you say that, his head turns towards you and he says it repeatedly, and it's a word that you immediately is coming through, either Olantia, like he recognizes that you recognize. Yes, Atlantia.
I'll kind of like point to one of the maps on the captain's desk. Where? Eva, I don't know if he understands you better than he understands me, but I'm wondering if we can get him back to where he came from. Because I don't know how far he's been taken.
When you point to the map, I think he would recognize the intent. He's quite insightful. I think you'd recognize the intent. He would shake his head. No.
Can't, won't, don't want to?
Roll an insight check for me.
Yeah, there goes my luck. 9.
9. It's a pretty strong no. I would say veering towards won't.
Secret?
Could be. He can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But he will just go, no. Every time you look at the map or anything, he's no.
Okay. I'll flip the map over so he knows that we've dropped it.
And at this point,
Eva will reach over and kind of just like put her feathered hand on his and give it like a reassuring pat.
And he will take it and give it a scaly squeeze.
I love that.
And he will at this point, now his thoughts are again, you can't understand words, but his thoughts are melancholy, sadness, he is longing, like pining for something. He potentially, you can probably infer homesick. He wants to go home, but there's a level of he will not reveal home. And you can feel his thoughts are becoming muddy. Exhaustion. He's tired. And he begins to his eyes start to close. Yes, he's been healed, but he's tired, he's exhausted. Okay. So he needs sleep. Yes, Jen, did you need to share something or no?
I have an idea. We should give him the helm. Circle it. Anyway.
Oh,
we should put it on him.
Idea.
Because that way he might not be able to communicate, but he'll be able to understand us at least.
That's a good idea. But I think it's
not now, not right now. Yeah.
And Eva's going to like notice he's like falling asleep, and she's gonna like forcefully push him back down on the bed and like pull up his blankets.
And as he kind of falls on the bed, he opens his eyes, and his eyes once again kind of go white. The skin begins to the veins begin to glow a little, and out he will once again, and it's a noise that you all kind of recognize. You only faintly heard it, but Eva, you will recognize it is that same song. And you kind of run to the captain's window and look out, and those same ripples. At this point, Cascade's been pretty quiet. She's been watching, but as he does that, like, she kind of looks out the window, watches you run to the window, and like, did he do that before?
And Eva will mimic the noise to the best of her ability.
What I will say is, while you are wearing the helm and you hear this song, threaded into that sound is intent, is language. It seems to imply, and it's in that same language that you don't understand, but it is something along the lines of help or help me. It's that intent of it's almost like he's calling. It's a distress call type thing. And with that, we're kind of getting close to time. So is there anything that people wanted to urgently briefly do as we kind of settle down for the evening and say that your characters are retiring to bed now?
I'll just kind of like tap Eva on the shoulder and quietly say, when he wakes, we should see if he'll wear the helm, the circlet, see if we can at least get one-way communication going. But for now, we all need to rest.
Yep, Eva's gonna take it off and hand it back to Estrella.
You should keep it. I think he'll be more likely to take it coming from you.
She's gonna put it back.
So
on
keep
her
it for
head.
tonight. Keep it for tonight. I will happily take it back once our business with him is concluded. But I think for now he trusts you more, and you should be the one to give it to him.
All right. Anything else that anyone wanted to do before you all retire to bed? Yes, Lulu.
Callista just wanted to have a quick moment with Kalyuka, who has her own stateroom, but she just wants to go in and just offer that if she has the energy at the end of any day to send a message to Kalyuka's family, because she knows she must be missing them, and she just wanted to say, and I know you kind of have a fraught relationship with your family right now, but they really do love you. And I think if you just give them a little bit of time, they'll understand why what you're doing is important, and I think they'll come to respect you. But I just wanted you to know that offer is there if you ever want me to send a message and let them know that you're okay.
Thank you so much, Callista. Honestly, I think at this moment, sending them something would make it harder for me to look forward. But at any point, if something does happen to me and we're not able to go back, could you send them a message then?
Oh, of course, but nothing is going to happen to you. I have your back, and even though I can't help you breathe water, I really can help you just not get hurt as much. And
but isn't it exciting? There's supposed to be an underwater city. I mean, this is only like stories that Mama used to tell me when we were growing up. And, I never thought that I'd meet someone like you. And I know that you don't know how to breathe underwater yet, but I think you do. Maybe we just haven't tested it yet. But and then I met like a spider lady, and now I met a fish boy. There are just so many people out there. It's so exciting. And I didn't want to tell you this, Callista. When earlier Astrea said that she'd room with you, it did get me a little jealous because I consider us very close. But so I just wanted you to know that anytime, if you just want to sneak out or play some pranks, I heard that Suri is really good at that too. So we could get her involved and then go into the kitchen and make something at night when everyone's sleeping.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. And I got to admit, I kind of wanted to room with you too. I mean, I think it'll be good for me to get to know Estrella better.
Yeah, I mean, you know what we should do? I'm not saying that I'm not thankful for your offer, but maybe we can go and tell Astrea, hey, do you want to say goodnight to Cassian? And then send him a message. And then see as she gets lost for words.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
And
I feel like Callista understands how much more fun that would be than Caliuca understands. Like, Caliuca's fully just like, she hates Cassian, and every time I watch it, I get really annoyed. And like, Callista's like, hey, yeah, that would be funny in so many ways that I just can't even begin to fathom.
Yeah, she hates him in a pining way, totally.
I think really quickly.
Really quickly. Some blankets out and maybe call Onyx and Ava too, and we could sleep under the stars outside on the boat.
I love that.
I've never camped out before. Not like
what
with
I was
friends.
gonna do.
I will come to sleeping situations. We do have to kind of wrap up, so let's wrap up that conversation a little bit. Onyx, you wanted to do something?
Yeah, real quickly, just when all of this we're kind of like filing out of the captain's quarters and stuff, I'm just gonna get Estrella aside, put both hands on her shoulders and look her in the eye and be like, you need to be more careful. I don't want to have to tell Cassian that you died.
Why would you have to tell Cassian that I died?
Because you got stabbed with a trident.
Well, yeah, but I feel like he would know if I just didn't come home.
Yeah, but he told me to watch out for you, so...
He what?
He told me to keep an eye on you.
You can see the gears moving in her head. You can see the steam coming out, rising from her head.
Listen, I just don't want to have to fight that kid. I mean, I might be able to take him, but...
Why would you have to fight him?
He's gonna be pissed off if I let you die.
The gears
She's so
rust
blunt and I fucking love her.
I mean, he's already got his credit, and he doesn't need me anymore.
I'm just... It's not...
Like, I graduated.
Onyx just giving you that total look of just so fucking stupid. And just like...
Anyway, if you have a way to let him know you're okay, you should probably do that.
Yeah. Her hand kind of like goes into her pocket and like kind of like glorb a little bit. She'll kind of like reach in.
If you need my help, just let me know.
She'll reach into her pocket, pull out the orb, kind of take a second to study the little bird and the lion, and she'll kind of like focus her energy into it and say, "Not dead yet. You better not be either."
Yeah, just one more pat on the shoulder, and then I'll turn off and find Eva.
You do get a reply almost immediately, actually.
Oh my god.
And it's kind of like an exhale, but it's not like an annoyed exhale, because you've heard an exasperated exhale. It's like a release of breath, and then a slight chuckle, and he says, not dead yet either. The tailors have not stabbed me to death with their pins quite yet. Then a pause. Glad you're okay. I heard from Onyx's parents today. Tell her they are well. And that's the end of the message.
Okay, I'll like run after Onyx and hold up. Apparently the Lord Commander and your parents have been in touch. They send their love and they're okay.
You get a genuine smile from her, and she doesn't usually show a lot of emotion, but she's really happy to have that information.
All right, real quick, because there is a little something I want to do before we go. So where is everyone sleeping? Because I feel like obviously you have your rooms and everything like that, but does anyone have any different ideas? Yes, Eva.
So I was planning for Eva sort of in the middle of the night. She's going to toss and turn, wake up, make sure that Onyx is tucked into bed if she's not awake. And then Eva's going to go up and bring a pillow and a blanket with her, and she's going to sleep on the crow's nest.
Perfect. Got it.
I'm a 4-hour bitch, so I'll just sleep for 4 hours and then go walk on the deck.
Okay. Lovely. So you're gonna be the first 4 hours sleeping, and then the next 4 hours kind of having a wander.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, it's not even sleeping really. It's like trancing, isn't it? But yeah, you're kind of like half asleep. Anyone else, or are we all just kind of staying in our rooms?
So Kalika is gonna ask Callista if she wants to come up on deck with her, and then basically maybe they wouldn't notice the little bird friend above, and she could possibly be listening to the conversation below. But what what Eva would hear is just the both of them discussing like old folk tales that they grew up with and fairy tales, and just watching the stars as they're sailing by.
Is that kind of before you retire to bed?
No, I'm gonna just say that Kalika is gonna catch a cold but sleep on deck for tonight.
Okay. So you're kind of like getting huddled up and sleeping on the deck.
Estrella comes up a few hours later and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like Callista's gone from the bed. Okay. Cool. So Onyx, you're the only one sleeping below deck.
I guess we already established like she sleeps like a baby, so.
Their friend, and you're just fully snoring. Okay. Cool. So as you all kind of settle down to sleep for the night, for the most part, it passes by peacefully. The waves are gentle. The air is still, and the watch goes undisturbed. And you kind of, Callista and Calliope, you kind of fall asleep on the deck, huddle up in a load of blankets against probably some very uncomfortable rope pillow.
Estrella will retuck them in as she comes up.
Estrella, you're kind of wandering the deck, admiring the night sky. Eva, you are fast asleep up in the crow's nest as we kind of enter the early hours of the morning. And Onyx, you're snoring heavily, I presume, down in the ship's hold. And while this is happening, one crew member is sat on a crate. He's the crew member that has been elected to be on watch for that time. And he is shifting his focus between sort of looking out to sea and whittling away at a small wooden musical instrument he's kind of carving at and making. And seemingly satisfied, he places it to his lips and plays a couple of notes. And it works beautifully. And at that point, you kind of, Estrella, you briefly turn at the sound, and he just waves his hand at you, and you smile and turn back, and he's very satisfied with himself and smiles with satisfaction. His expression becomes somewhat startled a moment later, however, when the two notes that he just played are repeated back at him from somewhere beside the ship. And he looks down to see a small round shape bobbing in the water that was not there before. Uncertainly, he plays a few more notes, and a few more of those shapes rise up in the water, and the notes are repeated back. The first shape rises more fully and reveals the head of a young girl with wild hair and fish-like features. And she looks up and smiles at him, and he smiles back, opening his mouth to call back to his fellow watchers. And she begins to sing.
Oh no.
As the others around her also look up at him.
Shit.
Callista, you awaken to the sound of song. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, goodness. Okay. 17.
17. Okay. Estrella, as you turn back away from this crew member, suddenly this song reaches your ears. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
15.
15.
I'm so glad that I had a long rest, because now I can do things later.
Eva, you awaken on the top of the crow's nest as this song pervades the air. Roll a wisdom saving throw. But you have advantage because of your inscrutable feature.
Oh my.
Nope. So best I can do is a 9.
9. Kaliuka, you wake under the stars next to Callista, who is sat upwards listening to the sound of song. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, not too bad. A 15.
What did you get, sorry?
A 15. 1-5.
And Onyx, you are the last to wake as you are in the hold, but you wake to the sound of song. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
You can hear it all the way down there?
You can hear it.
It's magic song.
Ooh. Whiz. Ooh, I have a good stat for that. I got a 24.
Wow.
Wow, Onyx.
Mm-hmm. I got a good night's sleep, motherfuckers.
Oh, I rolled the wrong. So sorry, I'm supposed to roll saving throws, right?
Yes.
I did not roll saving throws. I just rolled my basic.
So what's your?
So it would add proficiency, so add +3.
You would +3 to what I rolled before.
12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Eva, you wake to the sound of song, and your mind, for the first time ever, is filled with the intent of someone else and overcomes you. You want to do nothing else but swim as far down to the bottom of the ocean as you possibly can. And you begin calmly to descend the crow's nest. It's not.
I feel like I would jump off of it.
It's a calm kind of. It's a calm kind of feeling, and what is happening as you all kind of listening to this song, and you kind of wake up, and Onyx, you are the last to wake, but you make your way up to deck to find out what's going on, and a few people are kind of headed to the side of the deck, and are listening, and this man that was carving, he stops and he puts his little whistle in his pocket.
I start to run toward him.
Stands. Not now.
Okay.
Story time.
He stands up because you are just kind of watching and looking around what's going on. He stands up and he jumps into the water.
Oh dear.
Do I see that?
You wouldn't have seen that.
Okay.
As you continue, Eva makes her way down, about halfway down the mast now. And at this point, a few of the crew members, they kind of rush forward. They're calling his name. Cascade comes out to find out what is going wrong and screams out Suri's name as she attempts to climb on. A couple of crew members grab onto her and she begins to bite and kick and scream as they try to pin her down. Hector makes his way up onto the deck and begins to tell everyone to calm down as he walks further and further towards the balustrade. Various crew members, it's difficult to tell who is, they kind of all walk towards the side because they can hear that that's where the singing coming from. And then it's not something that can be interrupted now because we have gone over time, so we need to look at our thoughts in our next session in a few weeks' time. As you ascend onto the deck, it is in chaos at this point. There are people being pinned down. There are people that have gone overboard. Cascade is desperately trying to get everyone in order. And Onyx, you glance around looking for all of your friends, as do all of you, to account for everyone. And you each watch as you kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. And just at the last second, you hear Dion yell out Eva's name as she stands up onto the balustrade looking out over the water. And we will end the session there. Any thoughts, any ideas of what you want to do to interrupt and everything like that, we will have to do next time. Yeah, that was the end of that's the mid-season finale for our Therosian Odyssey.
Me and Eva about to reenact the Titanic right here.
We will be back in a few weeks' time. I believe our beginning date, I think, is March 12th, if I'm remembering that correctly. So we've got about a month off, and then we will be back in less than a month, actually, I think. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We will make our way around person to person. You can all start to you can introduce yourselves and let us know what it is that you do and everything like that. And we will, yes, March the 12th. Thank you, Darcy. March the 12th till April the 9th. So we will be back on the 12th of March to continue this story and find out what happens. And this song at this point has kind of built up into this fever pitch. It is now so loud and so crystal clear, and this boat is just surrounded by these bobbing heads as they kind of peering out of the waves. All right, let's start with we'll go in order this time. So I'm feeling a little bit less chaotic now.
You're feeling
Jen.
less chaotic.
Oh god, hello, hi. I'm so glad you got all your chaos out with the fucking sirens. Hi friends, I am Jen, aka Jenburb over on Twitter. I can be found here on Girls Run These Worlds. I think there are 3 campaigns that I've got going on here. There's Theros on Sundays, obviously mid-season finale. I've got Masks going on Tuesday nights with the lovely GM Anita. And then I've got my monthly sessions of The Quiet Year, which will be starting up next month to start up our year of The Quiet Year. Other than that, I sometimes stream Fire Emblem now because that's who I am as a person. Yikes, we're all gonna die. Thanks, Kat. That's it.
You all rolled really well with your saving throws, actually. I thought I was going to get a couple of you, and I did only get one. The one person as well that I was like, I'm giving them advantage. They're definitely going to be fine. And that's the person that ended up getting got. So that's hilarious to me.
The flavor of it is wonderful.
Bad, you would have got a bonus.
But let's head to Joan next.
I'm Joan. I've been playing Onyx. Everyone, if they had just stayed in bed within 60 feet of me, would have gotten +2 to all their saving throws. I just want you all to know that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was really funny to me because I about halfway through my description remembered that and was like, oh shit, I need to remember to remind them that they have +2 to their saving throws, and then remembered, oh no, they've all decided to go on top of the deck, so I don't have to worry about it. How funny again that happened. But if it makes you feel any better, you know what? Let's not get into that.
I have a plan.
It's fine. It's gonna all be fine. Let's go to Kumi next.
Hello, I'm Kumi. You can find me at Kumi Curiosities. What I have happening right now is on Valentine's Day on the Pigeon Killers. I'm excited to run a D&D 5e version of The Bachelor. So I'm really excited to hand out some roses, and I'm just like pushing my players to just inflict sabotage on each other. So I'm really excited to see what happens there. That's from me.
Amazing. Next up is the lovely Lindsay.
Hello, I'm Lindsay. I've been playing Eva, the "we'll see if it floats" character. I have a little friend here. I forgot I had a seagull plushie sitting above me this whole time, so like it's fitting now to have had that. When I'm not playing on here, I'm running an adorable little anime cosplay store here in my small town of Belleville, Ontario. So I'm gonna start on my big cosplay for this year. We're gonna try for Best in Show at the Masquerade. So those are my aspirations this year. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Can't wait to see pics.
Yay! I'm getting a big like silicone man chest because I'm gonna do Tengen from Demon Slayer.
Nice.
But like a very special, unique art of it, and I have a whole sketch. Like it's wonderful. But yeah, prepare for my my social medias to get some of that on there.
Amazing. And last but not least, Lulu.
Oh, hello. I am Lulu. I have been playing Callista, the party's cleric, who really does think she's more rogue than cleric, even though her roles don't actually reflect that. You can find me on Twitter at LuluNWA, and I did buy myself a very large sailing ship mini, so stay tuned. I was really inspired. I'm going to do a scene with Eva ziplining down to the the raft.
Awesome.
So that's what I'll be working on when I am not streaming these next couple months here.
Ooh, weeks. Hopefully weeks, not months.
Oh, weeks. I'm sorry. Yes.
Well done, everyone. Yeah, you have weeks.
Yes.
Well done, everyone. We will. I should introduce myself. I am Kat. I am otherwise known as the Law Mistress, or Law Mistress 93 on pretty much all social media. I write, I edit, and I stream APs apparently. And that is what I'm doing right now. We are on, as I just said, this is going to be our mid-season finale. So we will be back in like about a month's time. And I will be back in a brand new setting because I am moving to a different place. Hooray! Yeah, so it's going to be, I'm going to have to try to get everything. I don't know if it's going to look professional, but it will be a different setting. Also, I will be appearing on Thursday on VA Redemption's channel. I'm going to be playing in my first ever Call of Cthulhu game. I'm very excited. I'm going to be playing like a really dramatic actress who is definitely not going to have her priorities on the various horrors and zombies that she's going to be facing. She's going to be much more worried about things that probably don't really matter. But they matter to her, and that's the most important thing. Also, let's have a little talk about what's happening on Girls Run These Worlds. We have it's Cyberpunk today, isn't it? A little bit later.
Contour
and Charisma.
baby.
And that's going to be really, really fun. I recently played in relatively recently played in Cyberpunk myself. It's a really fun system, and the game so far is amazing. So you should definitely check that out a little bit later on Girls Run These Worlds today. We also have Lancer on Wednesdays, GM'd by the amazing JC Darcy. We have Masks on Tuesdays. I want to say Tuesdays.
Yep, that's
and our very own Jen is in that. And that's really, really. I actually really want to get to know and play Masks at some point because superheroes are. I don't know.
That's a good one.
I vibe with superheroes. What else do we have? Alien on Fridays. Alien is flipping fantastic, and once again JC Darcy is involved, so obviously, but we've also got Arnica. Fiona is an amazing game mother. It's just like a powerhouse cast, to be honest. Darcy, yeah, they are an asshole, but they are still amazing. I think that's pretty much it for Girls Run These Worlds announcements. We will be raiding now into Tavernaut's stream. I appeared on this a couple of days ago. They're playing Kids on Brooms because fuck TERFs.
Fuck TERFs!
Just gonna put that fuck TERFs. So in order to really show how much that fuck TERFs is a sentiment that we all share, we're going to be raiding into them and go over and say hi. They'll be mid their 5th game, 5 out of 6, game 5 out of 6, I think. And Lulu appeared on it as well.
Yep, I was the Friday night.
1 out of 6. Jen?
I'm upcoming for our last game this evening.
Game 6 out of 6. So amazing. So we got a good representation, some good Theros representation in this game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you should definitely absolutely check out and stick around with us as we raid into Tav's stream and go and say hi, and go and say fuck to us. Cool. Let's end this. I've lost the ability to speak now. Cheerio, everyone. See you in like less than a month's time, hopefully. Bye.
Bye.